Gospel singer, songwriter, keyboardist, and Grammy Award winner Thomas Tyrone Tribbett went on The Breakfast Club. He stated that he believed that some pastors are not called. They simply go to school and they get training like a Publix manager would. He also stated that church religion is a system, and those systems can operate with or without God. He also stated that the people are for the church now instead of the church being for the people, and because of this, the church cannot love the people correctly.
A lot of pastors were not called to pastor. They just, study, you go to school, and then you just become a pastor, like you become a manager at, Publix or something like that. And that's unfortunate for a lot of people who invest their, money, time, attention, and their soul into people who they believe are literally called from God. I don't believe a lot of pastors are. I think it's a system now. Oh God. It's a system. Everything is a system, and systems work with or without God. So I think the institution of church is whack. I think how church is ran is whack. I think the religious system and structure is whack. I don't subscribe to it, even though I grew up in it, I benefited from it, but I learned that God is not the church. And once I realized, whoa, God ain't church. That for me, you know what I mean? I ain't from the streets, I'm from the church. So that was a huge thing as well.
It's in the Bible, though. It says you can't even find God in a man-made temple.
Why don't we read that, though? How often do you hear that sermon? No, you hear pastors make the people about the church. We got the church name, we church and the bumper sticker, the church. The church should be about the people. The church should be about the people, but the church makes the people about the church. So all churches now are a movement, but they're not about the people. They're not about serving and loving the people.
Tye Tribbett also stated that once he realized the church isn't God, it gave him a mind-blowing experience, an epiphany. And this is why we're hearing him talk about deconstruction. In the words of Christianity, they call it the great falling away. A lot of pastors have left the church. A lot of members have left the church. And there is a lot of members and pastors continuing to leave the church and deconstruct Christianity, deconstruct the church, deconstruct the Bible, deconstruct just religion in general, and getting back to themselves. And this is a very big deal for some people. It's hard to let go of some things. So in Acts, when they talk about God doesn't dwell in a building made by man. Where is God then dwelled? Jesus said the kingdom of God is within us. So that means that the great falling away can't even take place unless you are apart from yourself. That's the only way it can happen, to be apart from yourself, because God doesn't dwell in a temple that's made by man's hands. You get it? So you can't fall away from God unless you fall away from yourself. Now, it may mean just falling away from the gathering of religious people. In that case, yes, then it is a great falling away. So in the next coming days, weeks, months, and even years, you're going to see a lot of people move from the church. Do I think that the church should be obsolete? No, but there should be reformation, apologies, and I think the church need to separate their counsel. In other words, I think pastors and teachers and preachers should preach the gospel and leave the mental health counseling to a professional counselor or therapist.